All right, guys, so to wrap up this these reloading videos that I've been doing, I'm going to go through each gun and go through the groups and you know, kind of what we did, just as like a recap. So we're using IMR 8208, the XBR stuff, and I found that this powder actually gave me better velocity than the AR comp did. Now I've heard some conflicting information about that, where AR comp may give you better velocity. Turns out in my gun, this gave me the best velocity. So to look at the original OCW target, I started with 27.5. You know, looked like the same point of impact to me. Loaded those up, did a seating depth test, and found a good load with that. I think velocity was right around 2,400 feet per second. And then I branched to 28.4 because I wanted a little bit higher velocity. Now the shit about that is this looks like a scatter node because the groups are so damn wide and it tightens up right here and gets tighter with 28.6. The weird thing about it is when I attached the magneto speed to my gun, it actually showed 28, 28.2, and 28.4 as being a velocity flat spot. So these two are the biggest groups out of the whole damn test. So I don't really know what to make of that. I loaded up 28.4 and did an optimal seating depth test, ran with that and found good results. So there's that. The 27.5 grains, optimal seating depth test. So right off the bat, 2.255, that's 2 bullets in one hole, one not very far. That looks like a good seating depth. And then 2.28, 3 bullets all in the same, pretty damn close. I forget how big those groups were, but they're teeny tiny. So that's 27.5. I loaded up a batch of those and a batch of those. I'm going to test those out. That's the lower velocity node. Higher velocity node, I found, and I don't think I did a video on this one, but I found 2.28. That's 3 bullets in one hole. I will take that. That's what I loaded up. I loaded up a shitload of these. That load was going at an average velocity of 2485. So not bad speed. I like that. So that's with the Grendel and the IMR 8208. Now I bought a couple pounds of this shit to keep the fucking lot number, excuse me, keep the lot number the same. So I bought a couple pounds of that, so there's no variance there. But yeah, that's the Grendel. So moving on to the 6.5 Creedmoor. Originally did this load workup. This is before I even tried an OCW. This is before I had the magneto speed. I worked it up regular like I was taught to do. Like, you know, the guy that broke me into this, he showed me how to do it. I did it his way and worked up a load. So I ran through a couple of things with the IMR 4451, loaded up some, and so you got 41 grains. It looks like a decent group, and then you move to 41.2, and that is a tiny group. It's a 3-shot cluster. I thought I found a node. Well, it turns out I did find a node, but I thought I found one I was going to use. Now I moved up incrementally, moved up to 41.4, and that's still a good looking node. 3 shots in one hole. You go up to that, that's 41.5. But anyway, these are the highlights of the load development. So, man, I got that magneto speed and tested that out, and the powder, those two nodes, I think they had a difference of maybe 20 feet per second from 41 to 41.4. So that's not a whole big jump, and I think my reloading consistency has, you know, improved since then. And I may run that test again, but the velocities were low. I think it was like 25-30 feet per second. Now I'm pushing the 147, so it's heavier. Now the shit with this one is, when I loaded these up at 41.4, I got loose primer pockets on the second load. So I knew this powder wasn't really going to work because the pressure was too damn high. So here comes 4831 shortcut. I got this, the guy that broke me into it, there again, he recommended this powder in the beginning stages. He didn't want me to go with this. He wanted me to try this because I was pushing a heavier bullet. Didn't listen to him, thought this was the shit. Turns out, had some good groups, but couldn't use this because of pressure. Went back, you know, always listen to your elders. They know what the fuck they're talking about. So I went back, tried that out, and did 2 tests. I don't have the first target with the magneto speed. If you're not familiar with this, how this all came about, my previous videos kind of explain it. But got the magneto speed, did a 10-round load development made popular by Scott Satterley. And this little cluster, 3 bullets, was, let's see, 44.8, 45, and 45.2. Those are all those charge weights in that one hole. And then you move up to here, and I think it was 46, 46.2, and then later on I tested 46.4. It turns out I was hitting pressure with those, so I dropped it down to this one, tested those out. Okay, so I didn't keep the original target that I used when I found a velocity flat spot. I ran those over the chrono, found flat numbers. I think I found with the 45 grains of this, I think I found an ES of 3 and an SV of 1.4. You know, and then the higher variance was, I think it was like an ES of 12 maybe. So ES from 3 to 12, I'll take that, especially for a long range gun. So I don't have that original target, but the groups were, they were under MOA, but I wanted to tighten them up. So I ran a seating depth test. So here comes the seating depth test. 2.795, 2 bullets in one hole, not one far away. Looking good. I think 2.805. I pulled or had breathing issues. There's 2 in one hole. That one's over these 2, so if that would have dropped down, would have been a good looking group. So I worked between this area here. Kind of ignored these. These were good looking groups though. They're all good looking groups, but I wanted to tighten it up as much as I could. So that was the first seating depth test. Ran the other. Now I circled all the pulled ones. You can't discredit those, but I know I pulled them. I know I jacked them up. So this total group right here, I think is 0.75 MOA. Maybe it's 0.74. Either way, it's under 1 MOA definitely. But you know, these 3 right here, if you're not, you know, if you don't know what happened with me in the group shooting, go back, check out my last video. It goes over all that shit. But yeah, that's a tight group. This is a good looking group. These are good looking groups. I think I can tighten those up. I think I can make those one holes. Different day at the range, you know. So some days it happens, some days it doesn't. But these are definitely damn good groups to shoot out to distance and to kill anything that I need to kill. Ignore all this shit. This was just a little trial run. I was testing velocity flat spots, the extreme spread. The extreme spread looked good on this, and I may have to mess around with seating depth. I didn't want to do that. I stuck with 45. This is 45 grains of 4831 shortcut. So groups look good. I feel pretty good about the load development that I did with the Creedmoor. I know exactly why I got the results that I got, and I think I can tighten those up a little bit better. So this turned out to be a damn good powder for the 147 grain ELD match bullet. So if you guys are running into pressure with the 4451 or even H4350, I found a couple pounds of that. I haven't tried it yet, but if it's got similar burn speed as this, I might run into some issues. This is a slower burning powder. It pushes that bullet at the velocity that I want without pressure. So yeah, I called Hodgdon and Hornady. Hodgdon didn't really recommend this powder just because they thought I was going to run out of case capacity. I can agree. My case capacity is somewhat full, but no pressure signs with this. Got the velocity I wanted. I'm rolling with this. So yeah, that's the Creedmoor. Alright guys, so last but not least, the 308. I didn't really make any videos about reloading the 308. I didn't really have a process. Ran into some results fairly quickly with the IMR 4064. This was when I was totally ignorant about, you know, nodes, the velocity flat spots, you know, any of this shit, OCW, any of this. I just worked it up like a normal load, found a group that tightened up, and just ran with it. So the original group that I shot was 42.3 grains of IMR 4064. That's 4 bullets in 1 hole and 1 stray. So shots 1 and 2 went here, and shots 4 and 5 went in the same hole. The third one was the one that was a flyer. Now that's a COAL of 2.809. And, you know, I didn't know anything about seating depth tests. I didn't know anything. So it's kind of funny that this has remained accurate, because I've tested it some more. That's 42.3, 4 shots, 1 stray. That's 42.3, not a bad group. Now if you do the math, this is 41.7 or 41.6, I think, something like that. That's roughly, I think that's 3% away from this node. So Dan Newberry talks about accuracy nodes being 3% apart from one another. This right here is 43.5 or something like that. That's roughly, I think, 3%. Excuse me, I haven't done my math, so I don't really know. I can't confirm that. But 1 flyer up here, you got 4 up here. That could have been anything. And I'll tell you something else I didn't pay attention to. Something that I found out with the Creedmoor, and something I found out with the Grendel, but more so with the Creedmoor, because I was trying to tighten the extreme spread. You have to brass prep, and your reloading technique has to be very consistent. You know, so trimming your brass, making sure your brass is the same across all the cases. That's going to give you good, consistent loads. I didn't really have a respect for that until I ran into the Creedmoor and was trying to tighten my velocity extreme spread. I know that now, so I'm going to go back and reload this 308. I'm going to start with Varget. That's an extreme hydrogen powder. It's going to be temperature stable. And then I'm going to run the 168 ELD matches, you know, match bullets. I really wanted to try the 178s, but I thought, man, I'm going to try and get some velocity out of this gun, because it's an 18-inch barrel. I'm not necessarily looking to stretch it out to distance, but I want it to have some velocity on it, and, you know, I want this to be pretty accurate. I think the accuracy is going to be there. This is a good barrel. If I had the results that I did with the IMR 4064, I'll be tickled. So I'm going to start over totally new. When I first started reloading, the guy that busted me into this, he set my dies. So I didn't really know about headspace or any of that shit. I'm going to do this like starting from scratch. And then go from there, because I want to understand why this is getting the groups and the velocity that it is. You know, like I said, I was ignorant when I first started doing this. And just started gaining some knowledge as I went on. So that's the plan. We're going to roll with that. For all you guys, a little sidebar, for all you guys that watch my videos, man, I appreciate it. You know, I know this channel's a little loose with the language. I use a lot of 4-letter words, but, you know, you either like it or you don't. If you do, great. If you don't, I understand. But man, that's the way I am. That's who I am. That's the way I talk. And if you don't like it, I think you probably should go find another channel. If you do, stick around. There's going to be more of this shit to watch. The 308, we're going to load that bad boy up with the Varget and 168 ELDs, and then see what happens. You know, if my son happens to pop out in the meantime, you know, there may be a little pause for the cause, but when he gets a little bit older, we're going to take him shooting. And anytime I get an opportunity to go, when my wife lets me go, I'm going to see if I can do some load development with this and see if I can get out, you know, and go hunting. And we'll have a little bit more videos with that. Hopefully I can film some deer from a deer stand. Hopefully we can get a little bit better camera work, working on getting a tripod, using the drone. You know, we're going to move into doing a little bit more quality video shit. But, you know, this video right here was an overview, a recap of all the load development that, you know, I've done. And, man, if you got something out of this, I hope you did. I hope somebody somewhere got at least some bit of information out of this. That's the original reason I started doing these videos, because I didn't have the answers to the questions I was looking for. When I found them, I decided to share them. And, you know, rightfully so, when I fucked up or made an ignorant move, I was pretty open about that and pretty verbal about doing that. That's the way I am. I'll be open and honest about it. And I'm going to let you guys know. So if it's entertaining, if it's funny, sit back, relax, and laugh your ass off at my dumbass mistakes. But, you know, hopefully not too many more of those are going to happen. So, yeah, stay tuned, man. Got plenty more videos in mind. Finding the time to do those is one thing. So if I get the opportunity to do it, I'm going to do it, make some videos. Sit tight, stay tuned. Got more shit coming your way. We're going to rework up the 308, so it should be pretty damn fun. Look at that. This is how wrapping up my video. That comes in the mail. All right, the 308. It's up. Time to do this load development. We got our bullets in, so all right, stay tuned.